Welcome to What If You Can with Nurai. This podcast is about wellness, nature, finding belonging, especially in the nature. I moved so many places, and then when I moved to new places, always nature was my guidance. And then before I know anyone, I would always look at the tree and like those mountains or hills, anything, and breathe deeply and say, I can do that. I just want to connect with people that who feel the same way, or just put a reminder that what if you can make nature to be your friend first, and then slowly just belong to that place. So when I moved to California 2018, I didn't know that many people, but what I knew was the trees. I would see similar trees, similar flowers, and then I would just think of, if they made it here somehow in this dry and very different climate, I can do it too. Especially like some flowers, like they learn how to survive in California climate. Like the tree that koala eats, that tree that like the Australian native tree. I cannot remember the name right now, but even if that tree made it, I would always tell myself I can make it as well. And then like when I moved, like it took me 3 years to make friends, community, but during that 3 years, what motivated me was mostly like the beautiful hills that I would hike. I could just talk to the plants, talk to the trees, and all of those things just helped me to, find belonging. Of course, like nature itself is not the only thing. It feels home, like people in that nature also makes it home as well. But I always think the balance of nature, if we have a balance of nature and human, it's easier to feel belong to somewhere. Like I always thought the cities are so crowded for me because I need a space to breathe. Like those loud cars and big buildings and just human, it's just too much for me. I like to see the balance, see other living organisms like birds, like even like where I live right now in Bay Area, seeing squirrels feels just so nice to see them, and then wake up with the birds instead of like car horns. It's just such a different thing. Of course, nature by itself can be really quiet and isolated. I grew up in Eastern Turkey. Like if I didn't have 11 other siblings and so many childhood friends, like every household had so many kids, if I didn't have that, that would be really hard to adapt in that isolated village. But somehow still, like so many people live there for so many years because nature provided everything they needed. So my point is like it's really nice to be in balance. So this podcast will be about reminder to you to sometimes go out in nature. It can be camping, hiking, and every session we'll talk about different experiences. I will share about my experience in the nature, like topics like how I learned to be alone, how I got comfortable to be alone, how I just comfortable to be alone, but also comfortable to be solo hiking, camping, and biking, all other things. And then once you accept nature is home, nature is where home is home. Anyway, my English is. And then you just meet other people the same as you, or meet people that who are willing to enjoy the nature with you. That makes it much beautiful. So yeah, growing up in Eastern Turkey, and then I went to high school in the city, and it was really hard for me because like I lost my balance. Like suddenly I was in an apartment in a second floor, and then everywhere was conquered. Like there were barely trees and so many cars. The mountains and hills and beach, water, lakes and birds, everything looked so far away, and it was just too much for me to handle it. And high school was similar as well. Well, high school, I went to boarding school in a small town, so that was much better. Still had some trees and not too developed, but still I felt like it was just only human. Not, I wouldn't be able to see other living organisms. Especially I loved petting sheep and cows and goats. They were growing up the chickens, and like finding chickens' eggs. They were like fun thing to be around. And so from there to university, I studied in a valley. Like it was still there. They had some parks, but still was not enough. I really wanted to just hike in the forest and see mushrooms, see flowers, see all the native things that I used to see it growing up. So I just felt super lost, even though in university I had the community I wanted, like friends, but I would still feel so like depressed for some reason that I didn't know the reason. Moving to California, it took me a while to get used to be okay with the new culture. But what helped me is going on a hike. Even though I didn't have a driving license, I will just Uber to the nearest hiking trail, especially Rancho San Antonio was closest, and I will just Uber to there no matter weather is. Even in a rainy day, I will just go hike when I was not working, especially on the weekends. I loved being outside. I could be outside all the time. Like I will take the train, go to SF, and take the ferry, go to the Angel Island. Like I will just be so happy to be outside. I didn't have to interact with any human because nature felt like a friend to me. And because of the nature, I mean the nature, I mean it's like mountains, oceans, and the beautiful redwood trees. And also there's redwood trees in California. I just felt like I can definitely get used to here because it's beautiful. On the other hand, felt so lonely because I always thought, oh, humans are the one that only I wanted. But I realized that I need both. I need beautiful nature, but also beautiful human. Combination of both of them makes living much happier and less depressed, less stress. I mean, I just wanted to also the wellness. I feel like if I didn't go many hikes, camps, and like all those things in the nature, I wouldn't overcome the challenges I was facing, or I wouldn't be calm. I would, because growing up, I grew up in a really strict family. Some of them were really strict. conservative Muslim. Some of them were just, they were only focusing about studying, and I was not good at those physics and science subjects. I was just mostly good about literature, history, like social things. But growing up in Turkey, those social things don't make money, so everyone wanted their kid to be good at science and then just be a doctor, lawyer, and make more money. So what happened is I just never felt belong. I never felt enough, and then there were so much pressure on me, not only on me, all of my other siblings and most of my classmates I knew. And then I was just like always feeling on the edge, didn't know what to do. But later I realized I like developed growth mindset because of the beautiful nature I have been like walking, and then also of course being